And we're back for another 72-hour fast. And I am actually 71 and a half hours. That's right. We started our fast early this week. We're going to talk, though, about what things break a fast. That's been a little confusing for some people. Does coffee break it? Does artificial sweeteners break it? We're going to spend some time talking about that tonight in this episode. Hey, if you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. And in this year, new you, I'm talking to adults with type 2 diabetes who want to reverse their diabetes, who want to get better metabolically, get off of medications, improve their health. That's who we're talking about here in this space. So thank you for joining me, whatever platform you are on right now. If you're also new, go ahead and put new in the comments because I'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music and let you know that I'm happy that you're here. If you have questions, go ahead and put those in the comments with a Q in front of it so I'll know that that is a question as I'm searching through the list of comments that are there, and we'll get to those as we move through this episode of the show. Once again, like I said, whatever platform you're on, thank you for joining us. You should be seeing us now on LinkedIn, on Twitter, not on Twitter, on Instagram, on Twitch, on Facebook, and then of course here on YouTube. If you know somebody needs to be here, tell them to come on over and join us as we move through our fasting episode tonight. I do see some community members out there, so I'm going to say hi here in just a minute. If you have been with us, you know how we do it, how we go as we move through the show. I will show you. Let's go ahead and hop over there. These are my glucose meters. I've got a Keto Mojo and a Contour. And then, of course, right below me is my Dexcom Clarity Report that we'll take a look at to see what's been going on with my blood sugars as we've moved through this fast. If you have not been with us, if you're new to us, welcome to our channel, Dwain Woode MD, and welcome to our community, a community that's vibrant, and the goal of our community is to reverse diabetes. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. You heard me as I went through the top of the show talking about fasting, talking about reversing diabetes, and we've spent several shows as we've moved through our path talking about the science of hunger, because it's one of those things that can help, well, not help, but can derail us. And so on the channel, there are 6 episodes that we did where we specifically talked about the science of food and how different things like proteins and fats and ketones can affect our blood sugars and affect our hunger. So if you've not done that yet, go ahead and make sure you get over there and look at that. That's an amazing group of episodes that we did as we moved through that space. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and let's say hello. I see Jiyeon out there, so let me put that up. She says, "Wow, Steve, amazing meal you had." I'm assuming you're talking about Steve. I didn't see Steve out there. Did I miss that? And Jiyeon is saying hi, hi, Dr. Woode. So hey, Jiyeon, thank you for being here. And over on Instagram, I do see someone joining us. Well, thank you for being here with us as well. All right, so let's go ahead and let's set up and let's get into what we're doing. Let's talk about what we're doing here in this space. So one of the most devastating diseases that we have in our modern society, in the modern community, is diabetes. You know, we talk about the disease process. We talk about chronic illness and chronic disease. But when we talk about those things, the majority of them are diseases of metabolism, right? Now, there are all kinds of other illnesses that are out there, inflammatory illnesses. There, of course, are cancers. There are joint issues. There are issues of the GI tract. And all of those are there. But if you take the number of people around the world that suffer from diabetes, we're talking about almost, well, not just say almost, over 500 million people on the planet who have diabetes. If we add to that the people who have pre-diabetes, we're talking about over 1 billion people on the planet that right now are suffering from pre-diabetes and diabetes. And we're not even including in those who have heart disease, those who have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatty liver, of course, metabolic syndrome, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and we can go on and on and on and on. So we're talking about a large number of people. And in the process of looking at how do we improve our health, one of the things that we've been doing as we've moved through our New Year, New You journey is how do we put diabetes on the back burner? How do we put it in remission? How do we get off of medication? How do we improve our health? And in fact, you heard me say, yes, how do we reverse our diabetes? That is that's what we've been doing, and that's the trek that we are on. So the New Year, New Journey, the New Year, New You pathway has been a pathway that says, hey, we can make a difference in our metabolic health, and we can reverse our diabetes. Because diabetes is a prototypic metabolic disease, that means that it's associated with, it's involved with, it has implications for lots of the other metabolic diseases. Because we are improving diabetes, we're improving our diabetes, then all of those other things get better as well. So people in the community who have, for instance, improved their A1Cs, they've become more insulin sensitive, they've gotten off of diabetes medications, they are now losing weight, their blood pressure is better because they've had some improvement in their metabolism, and their doctor's taking them off of not just diabetes medications, but now blood pressure medications. Our patients who see us in the office, our patients in our community members who are here are having tremendous impact in their health and in their metabolism as we've moved through the New Year, New You process. So as we've moved through that, we're reversing diabetes, and we've learned some amazing tools in that process. One of the most powerful tools that we've learned, of course, is fasting. We've learned several others, emotional intelligence. How do we put food together? What are some hacks to make sure that our body doesn't absorb all the carbs that are in the food? We talked about retrogradation, for example. What medications should we consider talking to our doctor about stopping? Remember, all those medications that stimulate insulin in the body are those medications that we want to get off first. What are the medications we should think about getting on? Like our GLPs and our DPP-4s and our SGLT2s, right? All of those are tools that we've learned as we've moved through the space. But one of the most powerful, of course, is the tool of fasting. And we like fasting because fasting hits all of the pillars, all three pillars of reversing diabetes: decreasing insulin, suppressing the appetite, and reducing sugar. All three of those are hit by fasting. Because if you're fasting, then you are not taking calories in. If you're not taking calories in, the likelihood that you're taking carbs in goes down as well. So that's pillar number 3. When the carbs in your diet decrease because you're not taking any in, the body's need to make insulin goes down. So we've decreased insulin. And because insulin is an appetite stimulant, because we're decreasing insulin, then our appetite, our cravings go down, and that's pillar number 2. So all three pillars are hit by fasting. And so that's why we love fasting as an amazing tool to be able to do the things that we want in our metabolism. And so, how do we fast successfully? That is a question that we have to ask. If we're using fasting as one of the tools to be able to reverse diabetes, how do we do that successfully? And what you are joining us with now is the process that we're moving through as we're talking about fasting successfully. So on a weekly basis, we do a fast. I do a 72-hour fast here. If you've joined us, if you're new, if you don't know, that's what we do. 72-hour fast. Our community members are moving in directions, doing different types of fasts, 16-8 intermittent fasting, 1 meal a day, 5 and 2, alternate day fasting. I think we had someone who did a Well, I should say, I think we've had people who've done 48 hours and 72 hours. One week we actually did together a 106-hour fast. Yeah, yeah. So fasting is a tool. Fasting is a tool. It is not the end all and be all, right? And you've heard me say that it is a tool that we have in our tool bag. We pick it up when we need it. We put it down when we need it. And in fact, you heard me say at the top of the show that I started my fast early this week. And the reason I started the fast early this week is because we're coming out of a holiday. And during the holiday, we indulged. And so I started the fast right after as a way of getting back on my non-holiday eating plan. Okay? And so we've been doing now, and we're just about at our 72-hour fast coming up here in just a few minutes. Okay? All right. So that's where we are. That's what we're doing. That's why we do what we do. And so now let's just jump into it. Tonight, in this episode, we're talking about what things break a fast. What are the things that actually can break a fast as we're moving, and why is that important for us to know? That's where we're heading. Before we do that, let's go ahead and we're going to do our check-in, right, about how I'm feeling since I've been fasting for 72 hours. Whenever you're doing anything, you want to make sure that you are evaluating it. Are you getting the benefits that you think you should be getting? How is your body responding to that? And how can you tweak it to make things better? Okay, so that whenever you're doing that, you want to make sure that you are doing those check-ins. Before we get into check-in, let me hop over again and say hello. I see some other community members that have come through. And of course, we said hi to Jian. Jennifer says, howdy all. Hey, Jennifer, how's it going? And Steve says, Jian, if you make it through the night, you are fasting. Try to sleep 8 hours, then try to make it to lunch, and that will be 12. Baby steps. Yes, Steve. Thank you. I'm going to give you a hand clap, Steve, for putting that in there. That is amazing. I love it. Steve is saying hi, Jennifer. And y'all, let me introduce you if you've not been here before. This is my sister here. Hi. She said hi, doctor. Hey, Nat. Thanks for staying up with us. And Gion says, wow, Steve, great tip. Thank you. Yes. That is an amazing tip that Steve just put in, because we often say we can't fast, but we actually fast. We're in the process of fasting as we're sleeping. So remember, the first 6 hours is our postprandial phase, and then we get into pre-fasting and those times when the body's breaking down. So it is a process of moving by baby steps into fasting. It's not, hey, let me just jump in and doing a 72-hour fast, but it is baby steps. And sometimes it takes a while. Remember, as we are trying to become proficient, as we're trying to become better at what we are doing in terms of metabolism, there's the untrained, right? That's the person who is new to the system, new to our area, new to our community, just got on the videos. Somebody just sent them. They're very new, so untrained. There's the practiced, right? So they've been doing it. You've been doing it. We've been doing it, and we're getting better at it. But it's not perfect, and it will never be perfect, by the way. And then there's the trained, because we've been doing this over and over. When we make a misstep, we don't let that keep us down. We learn from those mistakes. We go and say, what do we need to do so that we can be more successful in the future? And we keep going at it and at it and at it. So that's the trained person. So we want to move from untrained to untrained to practiced and to trained, right? So that's how people do it. That's how we become proficient. When you go to a job, they train you. They have someone who teach you, and then they watch you, and then they get you out there. So it's not just let's go. It is a constant improvement over time, and that's what we're doing in this space. All right, so let's hop over and let's go ahead and let's take a look at. Let's do our check-in. Right. So check in. So there are 3 areas that people tend to have challenges with, And these are the areas that you see listed there. And how am I feeling physically, mentally, and emotionally? So let's run through that together. So physically, I am tired because I was up late last night doing some things here in this space. You know, it was Cyber Monday, and was it Cyber Monday? Yeah, Cyber Monday, and it was whatever Friday it was, Black Friday. So I ordered some stuff. Some things came in last night, and I stayed up making some changes in here. You guys don't see that quite yet there, but you will see some of that. Got some more stuff coming in tomorrow, and so I'm anticipating being up again. Well, I'm gonna get some sleep tonight so I can be up tomorrow to do the things I needed to do. So anyway, so I was up late last night into the morning doing some things here in this age. So I am feeling tired more than I did last week, because remember last week I did a good job of getting some rest, but feeling more tired today. I'm not feeling lightheaded, sweaty, dizzy. I'm not feeling palpitations, right? So those are things that people will feel because if they don't do a good job of resting, and we'll talk more about this as we do our extended review of fasting on Friday. If we don't do a good job of resting, then we feel the changes in our body, the hormonal changes, the changes in energy more profoundly. Okay? And if you are on medication for diabetes, if you are on other medications that will affect blood pressure and affect your hydration, slow your heart down, for instance, a heart disease, then all of those can also have an effect here. Remember, if your volume goes down because you're dehydrated, your body has to keep maintaining the same amount of oxygen and nutrient flows to the cells. So how do you do that if the volume has gone down, if you're not drinking, if you're dehydrated? Well, we increase the heart rate. So sometimes people will feel elevated heart rate because they have not been maintaining adequate hydration, and so the body now has to compensate for that. Okay, so physically, that's where I am. Mentally, I am actually feeling pretty good. I don't feel foggy-headed. I don't feel like I'm in a daze or going through a tunnel. So I'm doing well there. I know that I have to sleep, right? As a matter of fact, right before I came on, I was here getting ready, and I closed my eyes for a minute, right? And it was a little more than a minute. But that was good. Okay, so I know I've got to do that. And then emotionally, actually pretty excited because I am here with you, for one. I am right at the end of a 72-hour fast, right? My intention actually is to go further into that fast, by the way. So I've accomplished my fasting, right? My official fasting that we do, 72 hours, coming up here in just a few minutes, with plans to extend it. This weekend, I'm hanging out with some of my buddies, and so we've been planning this. We do that once a year, and so I'm excited about that. So all of this excitement, right? So my energy, emotionally, I'm feeling pretty good, right? And also feeling good because before I came in a little while ago, I usually, put my son to bed, and he's an older guy now, so not putting to bed. So we talk a little bit, we pray together, and as I went out there, he was eating my chicken, my smoked chicken that I make. I was like, "How is that, man?" He said it's spicy. It is a little bit more spicy than I should have made it, but he said it's spicy, but he said it's good, and so I'm thinking that on Friday I'm actually gonna have some of that to not to break the fast. We'll break the fast and then we'll have some of that. But overall, feeling pretty good. And you can tell, I'm excited to be in the space. This has been a good week. This has been, I got a chance to talk to a couple of my aunts this week and just to get some things straight. And so that's been fun. Okay. All right. So that's what we're doing in terms of our check-in. Let's go ahead and let's hop over and let's take a look at what's going on with my blood sugars. And you saw this as we started the show when I was talking a little earlier. This is my Freestyle Libre, and my Freestyle Libre right now says that my blood sugar is 67. And this is a Libre 3 plus, I believe. Yes, a Libre 3 plus, 67. And you'll see in that kind of mid of the bottom, that darker green section, sorry, you'll see the squiggly line, and then you'll see some squiggly red parts of that. And so the squiggly line, that's actually my blood sugar. And you see my blood sugar has been below 100 for most of the day, for all of the day actually, below 100, because that line that's right above it is 100. So below 100, and then starting right at about maybe 5:30-ish, my blood sugar actually was dipped below 70, and has, for the most part, for most of the evening, remained below 70. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at what my Dexcom clarity report will say. Okay, so this is telling me that I need to start a new sensor. So this just went out. Okay, so let's see. So let's get there and let's take a look at this blood sugar. And actually, I think, all right, so below 70, look at that, look at that. So we actually dipped into the 60s, 50s, so 50s down there, 55, okay? And so so that's where we are. And we'll take a look at what my blood sugars are on my report coming up in just a minute. And this is a great time. I didn't plan to do this, but give me just a second. And I'm going to grab another, let me see, I think it's on this arm. I'm going to grab another Dexcom, and let's go ahead and put that on while we're here on the show. So give me just a minute, and let me grab that really quickly. All right, and I am back. All right, and so let me do this. I'm gonna move this stuff out for just a minute. I'm gonna put that over there. And so here is my my Dexcom, and let's see. Let's do some things right there. So this is a G7, okay? And let's go ahead and we're gonna open that box up. Let's get rid of that. And this is what it looks like. All right, so basically a big, let me bring it over here. So basically a big screw. And I know that's a little light, so you can't see some of the definition. Let me do one thing. Turn my light down a little bit. There we go. Okay, and so right there you'll see that is what it looks like when it comes out of the box. I'm going to go ahead and unscrew this, and so in here, let me come up to this. Let me do this for you. All right, so this is what it looks like. And so in there is where the sensor is, okay? And maybe I can hold it back here. Well, you probably can't see from this one. Here we go. Okay. All right. Anyway, so different views. And then, so let's see if I can get to it. Like I said, this was not planned, but since it's a great opportunity to show you. So that's what my sensor, that's my sensor right here. And I'm going to just rip that off. This is kind of like a little band-aid. All right, so I'm going to take that off. And let's go back here so you can see. So that's what the old one looks like. All right, and head back here. Okay, and let's go ahead and just grab this. We're going to pop this back on, pop this here. Let's see right there. So you get a better sense of that. So I tend to use mine down near my elbows. And just hold it right there and press the button. and I'm trying to find a good spot because I don't want to hit. Okay, there we are. Okay, and you may have heard that click. And so now, let me go here. All right, so that's on. And then, so let me go ahead and pull this down because now that's, and I want to do this because I don't want to accidentally snag it with my shirt. So just go ahead and cover it over. Okay, so that's now on. And so what I need to do now is just grab my phone. And let's go ahead and show you what that looks like. Okay, so this is what the phone looks like. And it says start sensor, right? So I'm going to go ahead and start sensor. And it's going to say use camera to scan the code, which is what I'm going to do. And there is a code right there. And so it found the code. It says sensor identified. And now it's going to go ahead and start the sensor. And I've already installed the sensor. So a new sensor is already installed, and now it's trying to find the sensor. Okay, there you are. It's trying to find that sensor. And it says pair, and I'm going to say yes. Sensor's paired, and now it's telling me that in 26 minutes, I'm going to get my first reading. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead, and we're going to move back over to my Libre and let that one do what it's doing. Okay, and we were in the process of seeing what my monitors were showing when when I realized that that was that had died or ended. All right, so here we are. So let's hop back over to here, and this is. Go ahead and make that, bring that up a little bit, bring that down. Okay, there we are. And okay, so I've got my Keto Mojo and I've got my contour. So let's go ahead and grab a strip for the contour. Get that in here. Keto Mojo, I've got two types of strips. This is my blood sugar strip right here, the one that's brown. Let's go ahead and get that in. And then I'm going to go ahead and open this other one. This is a ketone strip because I want to make sure that I don't have to stick myself twice. And then in my container, we're going to grab my new favorite Lancet, right, which is this thing right here. Okay, we just screw that off. And then just find the finger, and I've been, of course, using, I have been using this guy, this finger, and so we're gonna go ahead and use that finger again, all right? And ow, 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 ow. Yeah, hopefully that gives me a good drop, and I think that is a good drop. So let's go ahead and get this one started. Get another drop. This is for the contour. And keep this going because I need one more drop. So 57 is what the contour says. I mean, the Keto Mojo says. And this guy says 62. Let's go ahead and pop this up. Get that strip in. And go ahead and get that started. Okay. So anyway, so as that one runs, of course, I'm not going to show you what that looks like right now because you guys are going to be guessing here in just a little bit what do you think that my blood sugar is. So I do see some guesses already as we move as we've done that. So yeah, thank you for dropping those in. So let me go ahead. I'm going to pull those up on the screen before we get into our discussion. So let's see. Doctor said, so Gion is asking me if it doesn't hurt when it attaches the first time. It pinches, and if you're not used to it, yeah, it does. It's quick. But it does. Yes, Gion. Jennifer said, I started a 3-day fast today, but it lasted only 12 hours. Today was the first day working in office since my birthday. Forgot my office mates normally normal food day celebration. I'll start again tomorrow. And I love that, Jennifer, because that is the process, right? So what you're doing is not an abnormal process. It is, okay, I'm going to start fasting today, right? So you've got a plan. I'm going to start fasting today, but in the process of going through the fast, getting into the fast, life happens. And so we deal with life, and then we come back and say, okay, now let me go back to my process of fasting. Okay, so I love that, Jennifer, and I love that you are actually saying, okay, I'm going to start again tomorrow. And remember, that is not an abnormal process. I want you to understand, and I want everyone to begin understanding that what you've experienced is a normal process. Okay? And we want to make sure that doesn't derail us because we think that, oh, something is wrong with me. Okay. Jiyon says, Doctor, I like your yellow shirt. Thank you. Steve says that he thinks my ketones are going to be 0.8. Okay. Thank you for that, Steve. I'm gonna guess, because I usually don't guess. I'm gonna guess higher. At least I expect them to be higher. Let me say that. I'm not gonna guess, but I expect them to be higher. Jennifer says she works from home another day, so this was the day going into the work. Steve said it would be difficult to fast if I was still working. Now, so that's an interesting thought, Steve, and I get it because I am working, and some days it's tough. Like today was tough. Today was tough because I was going to say I mistakenly. No, I didn't mistakenly. I went down to the cafeteria to get something, right? Because I ran out of, and I didn't do a good job of preparing my space. Remember, we talk about preparing a space for fasting. So at work, I didn't do a good job of getting the supplies I needed. So I ran out of tea. You guys know I use artificially sweetened tea. And so I ran out of it. So I went down to the cafeteria to get some. And when I walked into the cafeteria, of course, everybody's there and people are talking to me and there's the food. And I'm standing talking to this one doctor as he's getting his food. And it was just, yeah. So it was a difficult time. So remember, those triggers, those routines, those places that we are in will still send those signals. And so those can be triggering. All right. So one of the conversations that I have often with people is about fasting and what things they can or can't eat or shouldn't eat. Remember, in our space, and so what actually breaks a fast? What breaks a fast? And in our space, we're talking about fasting from calories, right? People fast from lots of different things. And we're saying in our fast, we are abstaining. We are not taking in any calories whatsoever. So, right? So that's where we are in terms of our fast. And so the question is, what will break our fast? What are those things that can cause issues for us? Remember, fasting, we're using it for lots of different reasons. Our main focus is we're fasting because it is a method of reversing diabetes because it hits all the pillars. But fasting also does a lot of other things that are not necessarily diabetes, right? Remember, all those ancillary things that we talk about are really side effects of the fact that we're putting our diabetes in remission, that we're reversing our diabetes. So that when we lose weight, our primary goal was not necessarily to lose weight. It was, hey, I need to get my blood sugars under control. I need to reduce my A1C. I need to become better insulin sensitive. And as I do that, the side effect of that is that I lose weight. As I'm improving my blood sugar, as I'm getting metabolically healthy, one of the side effects of that is that my blood pressure improves. As my body has to use less insulin and produce less insulin, one of the side effects of that is that I have improvement in my polycystic ovarian syndrome. Right? So notice that it is the side effect, all those other metabolic issues. Now, I've said to you, easily we could turn this show into weight management and say we're using fasting for weight management because it does that. We could say we're using fasting to improve our metabolic health, to improve our fatty liver, to improve our polycystic ovarian syndrome. Easily that can be. So when I start the show, right at the top, I say, hey, I'm talking to adults with type 2 diabetes who want to reverse their diabetes. Right? I can easily come on and change the show and say, I'm talking to adults who are struggling with weight, who are interested in improving their metabolism and in losing weight, and we're using fasting to do that. That would be perfect because it does that. So when we're talking about fasting in this space, we're talking about calories. We're talking about what do we do to decrease the calories, to decrease sugar, to decrease insulin, to suppress appetite. All right, remember those 3 pillars? So the question is, what do we do, or what are some things that can interrupt that causes us some issues? Let me say as an overriding statement, this show is not intended to say you cannot have these things because they are because they're wrong. What it is intended to do is to help you understand, as you are fasting, what are some things in your environment that you may not think of that can take away some of the swiftness with which you get into ketosis, or the length of time that you stay into ketosis, or the benefits that you're getting in the ketosis process. That is, being ketosis, the body's using that and is burning fat. If you put calories in there, if you put things that will spike the insulin in there, then you're shortening that time, or you're breaking that space, you're breaking the fast, and your body has to deal with those calories, deal with that sugar, deal with that insulin, and then it goes back into ketosis. Right? So understand the process. This is not you can't do that because that's bad. It's helping us to understand what goes on in our fast when we take in certain things. Okay? Because remember, we are in the process of learning. This is a journey. This is, hey, how do we tweak? And that's the playlist that all of these shows are in. How to fast successfully. Okay? So as you're doing that, I want you to begin thinking about some of these things, and you can incorporate the concepts into your fasting. So what breaks a fast? What breaks a fast? So the first thing is, let's talk a bit about some of the common things that people say about fasting, right? So a tiny snack won't break the fast. Okay? And what I want you to do is in the comment, go ahead, and as I'm asking you these questions, go ahead and put your answer. Is that a yes or no question? Yes or no answer, right? A tiny snack won't break the fast. And so people usually say this because there are many people that I see in the office, or even folks in our community, or when I'm doing my coaching, and people will say to me that they just couldn't make it to whatever number of hours that they were fasting. And they said, oh, I had a snack, but that didn't affect me. And what they intend to say is that didn't affect the fasting, right? So it didn't affect the fasting. It was just a snack. I say to them, okay, what did you have for the snack? And they'll say, oh, I had some crackers, or I had some milk, or I had some cheese, or I had myriads of things. You can begin thinking of all the things that people will talk about, right? About a snack. And often when we snack, what we're snacking on carbs, right? If you think about all the snack foods that are out there, a majority of them, I dare say most of them, have carbs in them. It's uncommon to find a snack that's purely protein, for example, or purely fat. It is possible, but it's but most of the time when we're snacking on carbohydrates. And when we are snacking on carbohydrates, remember when the carbs come in, our sugar level goes up, and when the blood sugar rises, then we will see that insulin comes out. And when insulin comes out, insulin breaks the fast. Because remember, insulin and ketones can't exist together. So as soon as insulin comes out, ketones start going down. And so when the body's finished processing the thing you ate, then then the ketones have to, it takes time for it to get back up. And you guys have seen here, I think, was it last week or week before, when I was cooking and preparing for Thanksgiving and so forth, or actually the week before that, right, that I had eaten highly processed carbs and high sugar foods. And it took me a day and a half or 2 days before my ketones got to like 0.7, I think. I don't know if you remember that, Steve. I think Steve guessed at it. But it took me about a day and a half, almost 2 days, for my body to process, even though I was fasting, for my body to process all of that so that my ketones went down. Okay? So a tiny snack won't break the fast. Excuse me. And I see some answers there. Steve says it will, and he's correct. Natalie says yes, it will, and she is correct as well. Okay? So number 2, black coffee breaks a fast. Black coffee breaks a fast. What do you think about that one? And we've talked in this space about, okay, what are some liquids that we can have during the time when we are fasting, right? And we've talked about some teas. We've talked about coffee. So what do you think? Do you think coffee, black coffee, is going to break the fast? And it is challenging for some people, right? Because they get that boost. They get that whatever from the coffee, right? Some people say, well, I can't start my day without my first cup of coffee. Okay. And here we're talking about black coffee. We're not talking about coffee with creamers and anything else. We're talking about just plain black coffee. Will it break the fast? Okay. That's a good one. That's a good question, because there are so many people who need or rely on coffee to kind of get their days going. And the answer to that is that black coffee, right, will not break the fast. Black coffee won't break the fast. It does not have the calories in it that will push the fast. It is the stuff we put in the coffee that causes the problem, right? The sweeteners, the creamers, and so forth. And when I say sweeteners, we'll come to that in just a minute. All right? All right. Let's see. Then artificial sweeteners are 100% safe. Artificial sweeteners are 100% safe. Now, I drop in the comments if you think yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. So I will drink, and in fact, what's in my cup right now as I'm talking to you is artificially sweetened tea. And let me see. This is the one that I have right now, but there are two that I use. I use this one, and I forgot what's the name of the other one. I have some actually out in my car. So this is, and this is not diet tea. Let me make a point of that. It's not diet tea. This is zero sugar sweet tea. I think let me pop over here and see if I get a good enough view for you guys to see this. Let me get this stuff off the. Let's do this one. Okay, yeah, there we go. So this is what I have right now. Okay. And so that's what I'm using right now in this space. All right, so let's get that over here. Yeah, so artificially sweetened artificial sweeteners are 100% safe. Right? So that's the question. Yes or no? Yes or no? And I use, like I said, I use sweet tea to do that. Let me jump to another screen for a sec, and we'll come back to this one. So let's see. Let's see. We've got some. So Gion says no to the coffee. Jennifer says coffee is fine. I need it. um. So yes, Julian. So small snacks will break the fast. Small snacks will break the fast, and we'll talk here in a little bit about some of the composition of the snacks. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at this. So this is talking about our sweeteners. Let's talk about sweeteners. So when we talk about sweeteners, we want to be cautious with sweeteners because often we think that because it's an artificial sweetener that it is fine. But there are sweeteners that, one, do have calories in them. Okay? Right? So aspartame has about 4 grams of calories. Xylitol has 2.4 grams of calories. Allulose, right, is about 0.2. Now, let me say this, right? Because people look at these and they say, oh, that is a small amount. Any amount of calories that you take in, any amount of sugar that you take in, any amount of carbs that you take in will elicit a response from the body. Right? So when we elicit a response from the body, then that can throw us out of fasting, and it can cause our body to respond in a way so our ketones start going down, and then we have to get back into the fast. Okay? So the artificial sweeteners, right, you've got to be careful with the type, because even though they may not have calories, for example, let's find one here. So for instance, sucralose, right? So no calories. So yeah, so that fits, but it may increase your insulin effect. So it may cause a bump in the insulin, and so the bump in the insulin, once again, decreases the ketones. Here's another one. So xylitol has both a calorie effect and an insulin effect. And if you see in the third column or fourth column there, it says it has a small increase in sugar, in glucose. So allulose has calories, right? So calories are there, but it does not increase the insulin effect. But once again, it has calories. And so our bodies will switch to burning those calories instead of burning the calories that comes from fat and creating ketones. And then it has negligible effect on our blood sugar. So when we're thinking about fasting, we want to make sure that we are aware of some of the things that we take in that can cause, number one, calories, right? Put calories in our body, because we're avoiding that when we're fasting. Number two, that can have an effect on our insulin, because that will decrease our ketones. And then, of course, that can cause rises in our blood sugar, because that starts the whole ball whirling again. Okay? All right. So that is the whole process of the sweeteners. And then supplements. Supplements always disrupt fasting. And if you think this is the case, if you think that's true, put yes. If you think no, that's not true, put no. So yes or no, yes or no. Do supplements always disrupt fasting? And remember, supplements, depending on the supplement you use, can have a beneficial effect in fasting itself, right? So I'm saying that, but I'm waiting for you to put yes or no, that supplements can disrupt the fast. So there are some supplements that you can take that will actually enhance what goes on in your body. So supplements, yes or no, will they break the fast? And Gion says yes, they will break the fast. If you think you know, put yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. Supplements will disrupt the fast. And the answer to that is that it depends. There are certain supplements that you can take in that will disrupt the fast because they have calories or they have carbs in them. Okay, so when you're looking at the supplements, you want to look at the package and you want to see, okay, what are the carbs? Well, first of all, what are the calories? Are there carbs in it? Is there sugar in it? Those are the big things that you want to look at. And just like that, Jennifer says not always. So you are correct. So what are the things that will actually break our fast? Right? What are the things that will break our fast? So things that have calories will break our fast. So if we intake anything that has calories, the fast will be halted. And so then after the body processes that, then it has to get back into the fasting regimen. And you remember the first 6 hours after eating is called the postprandial period. Okay? All right. Protein and fat. So people say, okay, I won't take calories. Well, it's not. I won't take sugar. I won't take carbs. But what about protein and fat? Well, protein and fat will signal your body to stop autophagy, and it will decrease ketosis. Because if your body, because remember, one of the in the 16 to 18 hour when we do our fasting review, there's a point when you may have heard me say it when we do our show over and over that the body is creating sugar from non-sugar sources. Right? Gluconeogenesis. And gluconeogenesis says that there are things out there that didn't come from carbs, but I can use them to create sugar. For instance, when the body breaks down fat, it gets the glycerol, and that glycerol gets turned into sugar. So if I've eaten something that has fat, even though it doesn't have carbohydrates, so I don't get the insulin spike that I would get from carbs, and I don't get the rise in my blood sugar necessarily that I would get from carbs, that still has calories in it. It still has sugar in it because my body can convert that to sugar. And so now I get, not because the thing itself caused it, but my body's converting it to sugar. And when it's doing that, it's not burning fat from my fat cells for ketosis. It's using what I just put in. Okay? And that process halts autophagy. Because remember, autophagy comes in with calorie deficits, with fasting, with ketones. And so if I'm eating something that interrupts those, then autophagy begins going down. Once again, you can get back into it, but just understanding that it can interrupt the process. Right? And then the other thing that will break the fast is spikes in insulin. So sweeteners or flavors that mimic sugar may cause an insulin response. Okay? So what doesn't break a fast? What doesn't break a fast? Well, hydration, so water. Water doesn't break a fast. There are no calories there. There's no insulin response. There's no protein. There's no fat. Water is an excellent place. How about electrolytes? Electrolytes won't break a fast if you get electrolytes that don't have sugar, right? And let me see. I think I have. Hold on a second. Let me grab this really quickly. So you guys will recall that several months ago, actually, now, I went out and I bought some electrolytes. And as I started, so I saw zero, and I was like, oh yeah, that's great, right? And it says zero sugar. I said, oh yeah, this is terrific. So I went and I bought them, and then look at this, right? So zero sugar, but look at the, let's see, can you see that? Yeah, look at the calories. So 5 calories. So zero sugar, I was like, yeah, this is great, but then 5 calories. And this one, so it says zero sugar, right? That's what it says. But if you look here at the, see, can you see that? Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. So if you look closely there, maybe, right? Let's do it this way, because if it sees my eyes, it won't focus on this. So if you look closely there, you'll see that it says for calories less than 1 gram. Is that what it says? less than 1 gram. So it's, sorry, not calories, total carbs. So it's not 0 calorie. It's 0 calories, but it's not carb free. Let me say that. Okay. So once again, you want to make sure that you are careful with the things that you're taking in. So electrolytes, if they're sugar free, and Jennifer actually has put several of our shows where she's put the one that she uses. Jennifer, you can drop that again for people who may not have seen that in the past. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. So electrolytes, black coffee, right, and unsweetened teas, right. So those are fasting friendly. And once again, you want to make sure that you're looking at the tea itself, because some of the teas, in the tea bag, they'll mix other things in there that can cause spikes. Now, on the list, I put apple cider vinegar, but apple cider vinegar has carbs in it, but the apple cider vinegar actually helps blood sugar. And so sometimes people will say, oh, you can have that. I put that there because I wanted to mention that. But in our fasting, we are not using any apple cider vinegar, right? So that's not one of the things that we use. We've said unsweetened tea, black coffee, and water. Or artificially sweetened tea. So 4 things, okay? And then 0 calorie sweeteners, right? You want to use those with caution because there can be individual responses to them. So even things that we say, okay, this should not raise your blood sugar, or this should not cause a spike, this should not do this, then you want to be careful with those though, because in your body they can have an effect. Right? And so what are some guidelines for fasting in terms of what things can cause issues for us? Define your goals. What are your goals? Are you doing this because you have a weight goal, because you're interested in autophagy, that you're interested in ketosis, you're reversing diabetes, you're improving insulin sensitivity, you're working on fatty liver, whatever it is, let's define that. And that may help us determine what we need to do in terms of the fast. And remember, we did a show where we talked about the various types of fasts and what they are proposed to have to improve the disease processes. So that's a good show to go back and look at. And then stick to the basics. Stick to the basics. Water, black coffee, and tea. If you're fasting, particularly if you're doing, I should say particularly but any fast that you're doing, remember there's a goal, and in the fast, decide, hey, I am going to just do black coffee, water, and I'm going to do tea. That's what I do. Okay. Is it always easy? No, because sometimes, like at my office, one of the things that I used to drink all the time, right? Because I don't know, in my office, there's always stuff coming through. But we used to get Starbucks, and so I would do the chai latte, right? And the other team members, they still get Starbucks. And I'm there sitting, and I see them drinking and sipping, and I'm like, right? So it does get get challenging at times, right? Because there's those social cues. But now I don't get that. In fact, I don't even order. I used to still order stuff, but I don't even order anymore. Okay? And then listen to your body. Your body is your friend. Your body will let you know when you need to make a change. Okay? So define your goals, stick to the basics, and listen to your body. And then some key takeaways that I want you to get. Number 1, calories and insulin spikes break the fast. Whenever you put calories in, or anything that will cause an insulin spike, then that will break the fast. 2, hydration and simple drinks keep you on track. Hydration, so water, black coffee, unsweetened tea, or artificially sweetened tea with certain sweeteners. And then fasting success is about consistency, not perfection. Consistency, not perfection. We're not looking for you to do a 72-hour fast the first time out of the gate. In fact, there are times when you will attempt to do a 72-hour fast and something will happen that will break the fast, will cause you to break the fast. One time, I was doing something. Was I cooking, or I was trying to do one of those times when I cooked and didn't taste it, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna taste it. I'm just gonna cook, 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 cook. And as I was cooking, um, the dish was almost done, and I was like, okay, let me see. And I tasted it, and but as soon as it went it went into my mouth, I was like, oh, look at that! I just broke my fast, right? Or or life happens, and so you interrupt the fast. We when was that? Several months ago, I was going away, or we have people who homecoming, right? We had people coming in for homecoming, and so I went out with some friends, and so I was planning to do a 72-hour fast, and that week I did a 48-hour fast. Why? Because I was with friends and I broke the fast so that I can do that. So it's about consistency. And so the next week, hey, let's do this again, right? And that's what we've been doing as we work through the new year process. We're trying to be consistent. We're not trying to be perfect. And all of the things that we do, we want to build them into our path. For instance, your birthday, it's not a surprise. So build your birthday into the new year process, into the journey. Say, what are you going to do on your birthday? Okay, on my birthday, I'm going to have cake. Okay, then don't fast on the day of your birthday. Right? Make it a part of your journey. Your anniversary, your husband, your spouse's birthday, your wife, your husband, their birthday, your kids. Build it in so that you don't feel like you are cheating. I was talking to someone not today, but this week, and they said they're preparing to go on vacation, so they've been saving up. And then we were talking. They said, okay, but I may cheat on the trip. And I said, well, why do you call it cheating? They said, because I'm not supposed to do it. I said, well, so you're going on vacation. Are you cheating on your job? No, because you planned to go on vacation. It's a part of the process. Hey, I'm working, I'm saving up, and during this course of whatever this month, the month of November, December, we're taking vacation and we're going somewhere. So it's not cheating on the job. You're not playing hooky. You've planned it in. Same thing here. There are those days, there are those times when you can make a decision that I'm going to eat. And notice what I said when I was talking earlier. I said I started my fast early because I wanted to get back on my non-holiday eating plan. So I didn't fall off the bandwagon. I didn't go off the reservation. I didn't slip. I didn't make a mistake. I chose what I was going to eat. I chose those things, and then I chose to start my fast because it was a part of my plan. And so build it into your plan so that it is not something that just happens. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at my glucose readings on my report. And of course, as you know, because I talk, I have to log back in. Give me just a second. And let's take a look and see what's been going on over the course of the last several days as I have been fasting. So let's go ahead and let's grab this one. I think this is where it is. Yeah, there we go. All right. So you'll see there on the screen. So this is my 14-day average. Let's get that there. Okay. 14-day average, and my average blood sugar there is 142. That's for the last 14 days. I am in target 83% of the time with blood sugars ranging, or my target 70 to 180, and my glucose management indicator is 6.7. So that's what you see there. So if I were to get an A1C, then the A1C would approximate 6.7. Now, it's not perfect, right? Because it's a calculated value. And so it can be off from the actual A1C that you get when you do blood work. If I change this to 90 days, it's probably about 135-ish maybe. So 131 is my average blood sugar over the last 90 days. I've been in target 89% of the time with target being 70 to 180, and then my glucose management indicator down there at the bottom is 6.4. Now I'm looking at this, and I don't think you guys can see my. Can you see my mouse? Okay, I'm not sure why. Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. All right, but 6.4. If I look at my actual daily graphs and see what's been going on, and let's go back here. So I started fasting on Sunday, right? So right in here. So 130 was what my blood sugar was at the time, and you'll see. So I ate here. And you'll see into the fast those first several hours. So let's actually take a look at that. So 9 o'clock, right? So right around 9, so 8:40 some, 9 o'clock. Then so I'd eaten before that, and so look at these hours. So I started eating here, right? So 3 o'clock, and my body processed. So 3 to 6. So that's 3 hours, and then 6 to 9, that's 3 hours. So when we do our check-in, right, we break it up into 6-hour chunks. And so from 3 to 9 o'clock, that's actually just right now the postprandial period, right? So blood sugar spikes went up, or blood sugars went up, insulin should have come out, and then the blood sugar started going down, right? Because my body is processing that, and it's incorporating that into the cells. And then my blood sugar started rising again. Look at that. So that's residual from the food that I ate here, right? So now we're getting into that 6 to 12 hour. So 6 to 12 hours. So here from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So that's what, 3 hours. And then into the morning, you still see some spikes there. And then, right? So now the blood sugar started coming down and down and down. So into Monday around 9 o'clock, we were 105. So we started down here at 152. 24 hours later, we're at 105. 24 hours after that, we're at 75. And then 24 hours after that is where we are now. And that's when my monitor kind of went out right here. So we just put that back on. And let's see, what is my monitor telling me my blood sugar is? Let's take a look at that. So yeah, so right now my Dexcom is saying that my blood sugar is 74. Okay. But right here, so we are right now over 72 hours, actually about 73 hours in this week's fast. And look at that. So, right, so most of the day, the blood sugar has been kind of straddling right below, I was going to say right below 100, but actually lower than 100, and then straddling right around 70, right? So 70, 76, 76, 80, 72, 73, 69, 73, 61, right? So here, down there. And so people say, well, why don't you not feel that? Well, I don't feel it, one, because I'm not taking any medication. I don't feel it also because my body has a steady source of energy called ketones. So ketones are a great source of energy. All right, so let's go ahead and let's hop over and let's take a look at what my ketones are. All right, so let's grab this. So here is my Keto Mojo. Let's go ahead and turn that on, and then you'll see the app on the screen. And let's go ahead and get that synced. Come on, sync, 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 sync. It doesn't like that. Oh, you know. Okay, I had to put a note to myself to get it off this extra, because I do that every time now. So let's see, get it back on the right network. So let's get out of there. Or was that the right one? Did it already sync? Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, here we go. So it's syncing now. All right, and I think if I remember correctly, I think Steve said, was it 0.8? Yeah, I think Steve says 0.8. So drum roll, please. And so 57 was my glucose, and my ketones are 2.8. So Steve, you had the 0.8 part. Right, 2.8. Yeah, because I wanted to, I was like, man, if I'm fasting for 72 hours, it needs to be higher than that. So when we talk about ketones, ketones that are less than zero point 0.5 are considered normal. 0.5 to 1.5 are considered nutritional ketosis, and above 1.5 is considered therapeutic ketosis. So when we talk about ketones and metabolism and fat and ketosis, we want our ketones to be 0.5 or higher, right? 0.5 or higher. That is where we want it to be in terms of our metabolism. Awesome. All right. Let's see. I think that is, and for some reason, I think they updated the app, so it doesn't allow me to show. Let me see. Show the graph. Yeah, it doesn't allow me to show the graph for some reason. Okay, if you're out there, oh, graphs. Let's see. Oh, there we are. Okay, I just was on the wrong screen. So when we take a look at graphs, let's go ahead and let's pop this one up. When we take a look at the graphs, the tan line, those are blood sugars, and then the turquoise line, those are ketones. And you'll see as I fasted, my blood sugar, the tan line is going down, 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 down. And at the same time, the turquoise line is going up. Because as I fast, the body's finished processing the food or burning the carbs that are in the blood. It's gone to the liver and say, hey, give me the glycogen that's there. That's usually gone in 24 or 36 hours. And then the body says, okay, now I need to find energy. And now it starts looking at the fat cells. And so I love when my ketones are above or 0.5 or above, because that means I'm burning some stuff right here. I'm burning all of this wood. I'm burning that, and I am working not just on my metabolism, working on my insulin resistance, working on my blood sugar, working to reduce my A1C, but I'm having all the other benefits: weight loss, improve blood sugar. I'm protecting my liver. At that point, my body's in autophagy, and so it's grabbing all those damaged, broken, unused cells, and it's recycling them. Okay, so I love that process. Awesome. All right, and so remember, as we are moving through our space, as we are continuing the fasting, as we're continuing our metabolism, that you have unlimited potential to make changes for your life, for your health. You can do that, right? Whatever's happened in the past has happened, but now we have the ability to unlock our choice to make changes for our future. And you can start that right now. So you have unlimited potential. That is unlocked by our Triple E formula for success. We educate, we empower, and we encourage. We educate with the blogs and the podcast, and we educate with the shows that we do, because we're changing your mindset. We want to give you a growth mindset. We want to help you to move through the space so that you can know that you can make changes. We empower with the tools that we're learning: emotional intelligence, evaluating our medication, putting food together, the heat model and the COPE model, and the pillars for diabetes. All of those are things that we're learning. They're tools that we do, and we learn with the challenges. We put them into practice. Remember, things that are in your head are just theory. If they're on a piece of paper, they're just theory. It comes to life when you take action on them. Okay, and we encourage with the community, and you see our community is an amazing community. I love the interaction that we have. Make sure that you join us for our community meetup, and I'll put that in the chat here in just a little while. Make sure you sign up for that when it comes up. It's going to be on the 19th of this month. Amazing group of people that we have. So that's what we do, right? So we build, we learn from the community. We learn from the Triple E formula for success. The habits that we form, those are the routines. The emotions that we have, whether we're sad, whether we're frustrated, we're lonely, we're tired, we're bored, all of those, if they get strong enough, will push us through the decision to not eat, or a decision to eat in a certain way. We get triggered also by access, just having things around us right? And one day I'm going to give you guys a tool. When you eat that food, you can, oh, I can't just have one. But it's not the food that we're chasing. It's the memory that it brings. It's the calm that it brings to us. It's that momentary improvement in whatever situation, the buffering that it does that we're chasing. It's the heat model. And remember our pillars for reversing diabetes: decreasing insulin, suppressing the appetite, and reducing sugar. The other powerful tool that hits all three of the pillars, one of the other powerful tools, is our balanced bites. Remember, we fuel our bodies with balanced bites. Every bite that we take counts. Everything that we put in our mouth has an effect. It has a signal to our body on how to process it. And so if we are careful, if we are mindful that we are using balanced bites, if we're fueling our body with balanced bites, then that also hits all three pillars. And remember, with the balanced bites is whole foods first, right? We want to minimize processed foods, no added sugar, lean protein and healthy fats, starchy and non-starchy vegetables. It has to be tasty and flavorful, and portion controlled. And when you show up, tell your story. First of all, join the challenges. Put those things to practice. Every time you practice, you get better at it. And then join the challenges. Right? Remember, that's where you get to practice. That's where you get the healthy, where they can reverse their diabetes and get the overflow of reversing diabetes. If you're not diabetic, you're getting overflow. You're losing weight because you're fasting. You're improving your blood pressure and your cholesterol, and you're getting better in your fatty liver, and you're decreasing or treating your polycystic ovarian syndrome because of fasting. So just because you're not diabetic, don't negate the tools that we are learning, the tools that you have access to as well. Okay? All right. And so let's hop over and let's take a look. I see. Let's see. So Jennifer said, that's what Jennifer said. And then Jiyon says, yeah. And then here's a question. Jiyon said, Doctor, I heard fat is not raising insulin. Is that not true? So in our space, remember, we're doing a couple of things. One, we are avoiding calories, and two, we're avoiding carbs, because carbs are calories. So anytime we put any calories in, calories will cause either a spike in sugar or cause our bodies to respond in an insulin way to cause us to break the fast. So when you eat food, if it's fat, the fat gets converted. Part of it is of course the fat, but part of that gets broken down and it becomes glycerol, which causes sugar to rise. When that happens, you get insulin spike. Okay, it's not as big as if you ate something that's purely carb, but it is there. Okay, so you do get some spike in insulin. Jennifer says, I use fasting salts by Nutri-Align. Okay, so those are electrolytes. No flavor or sweeteners. Also is liquid IV sugar free, but this has allulose and stevia. Okay, so she's giving us a list of things there. So let me put that back up. Thank you, Jennifer. Fasting salts by Nutri-Align is the one. No flavor or sweeteners, so nothing there. Also, she said liquid IV sugar. Liquid IV, sorry.